You are not short on ideas. If anything, you have too many. Your mind is crowded with unfinished versions of a future life. Businesses you were supposed to start, bodies you were supposed to build, books you were supposed to write, channels you were supposed to launch. In your head, everything works. The concept is clean, the outcome is impressive, the applause is already there. And yet, nothing exists outside your imagination. The document is still empty. The equipment is unused. The habit never started. Not because you're lazy, not because you're incapable, but because thinking has quietly replaced doing, and your brain prefers it that way. You are standing still at the starting line, watching other people move forward, wondering how they got so far ahead when you know deep down you could have done better than them. That gap hurts, because it isn't about talent, it's about movement. And right now, you are frozen. Why smart people get stuck first. Here's the uncomfortable truth. This problem hits intelligent, creative people harder than anyone else. If you were clueless, you'd just start. But you aren't clueless. You see consequences. You see complexity. You see everything that could go wrong before you take the first step. Your brain doesn't see a project. It sees risk. Risk to your ego. Risk to your identity. Risk to the version of yourself that still might be great. So instead of acting, you think, and thinking feels productive without being dangerous. You convince yourself you're preparing, but preparation has become your hiding place. The dopamine lie of planning. Ideas feel incredible because they come with free dopamine. Your brain rewards possibility before effort. So when you imagine success, you feel successful. When you plan, you feel productive. When you organize, you feel responsible. That's the trap. You tell yourself, I'll just research this first. I need the right tools. I should learn more before I mess it up. Hours turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, and somehow, despite all the activity, nothing moves. Because learning is safe, starting is not. You've become an expert in your own potential and a beginner at execution. Monday motivation is a scam. You've lived this loop. You wake up convinced this is the week. You clean your space. You organize your calendar. You make a beautiful plan. By the time you're done setting up, you feel accomplished, so you rest. 5 minutes of scrolling turns into an evening. The day ends. Nothing changed. And something worse happens. You lose trust in yourself. Every time you don't follow through, your brain quietly notes it. Your promises don't mean much. That erosion is slow but devastating. Why starting feels physically painful. That tight feeling in your chest when you open the laptop, that sudden urge to clean instead of create, that wave of exhaustion the moment you sit down. That's not laziness. That's your nervous system activating a freeze response. Your brain interprets starting as a threat. Not a physical threat, an identity threat. Once you start, the idea leaves your head and enters reality. And reality is where things can be judged, rejected, and proven average. In your mind, the idea is flawless. In the real world, it has to survive contact. So your brain shuts you down to protect you. The potential trap. As long as you don't start, you can be anything. A brilliant writer, a successful founder, a disciplined athlete. You are powerful in theory. The moment you act, that infinite potential collapses into one imperfect attempt. And that feels like loss. So you stay still, not because you're afraid of failure, but because you're afraid of finding out. You would rather be someone who could have than someone who tried and struggled. Your standards didn't make you great, they made you invisible. Your brain is lying to you to keep you safe. It whispers reasonable excuses. You're just tired today. The timing isn't right. The market is saturated. You need more experience. All of them sound logical.
None of them are true. They are defensive stories designed to preserve comfort. Your brain finds thousands of reasons to stay and only one to go. And staying feels safer until years pass and regret sets in. There is no right time. Read this carefully. The fear does not disappear before you start. It disappears because you start. Confidence is not the prerequisite, it is the reward. Waiting to feel ready is like going to the gym before having muscles. Readiness is built through action, not thought. Every master you admire once looked ridiculous. Every expert was once painfully bad. They didn't feel ready, they moved anyway. Why the first step feels impossible. Starting requires the most energy. You're pushing a stationary object. Once it moves, momentum takes over. But that initial push is brutal. So stop expecting it to feel smooth. Expect resistance. When you know it's supposed to be hard, you stop thinking something is wrong with you. You stop negotiating. You just push. You're looking too far ahead. You're overwhelmed because you're mentally living at the finish line. You're thinking about scaling a project that hasn't started, criticism for work that doesn't exist, outcomes that are months away. That's avoidance disguised as planning. Shrink your world. You are not responsible for the whole journey. You are responsible for the next step, nothing else. The only strategy that works. Lower the bar. Lower it until your perfectionism is insulted. Don't write a chapter, write one sentence. Don't work out, put on your shoes. Don't build a system, open the file. Your goal is not progress, it's motion. You're breaking static friction. Once you're moving, your brain stops resisting. The cost of staying still. We talk about the risk of starting, but what about the risk of not starting? Picture your life 5 years from now, unchanged, same frustration, same self-doubt, same conversations with yourself about someday. That future costs far more than failure ever could. Failure is temporary, avoidance compounds. Permission to be bad. You don't need confidence, you need permission. Permission to be clumsy, permission to be awkward at first. You can fix a bad attempt, you cannot fix nothing. Perfection multiplied by 0 is still 0. Messy action beats flawless imagination every time. Change your environment, not your willpower. Willpower is limited, environment is leverage. If you sit where you scroll, you will scroll. If your phone is near you, you will reach for it. Change the room, change the rules. Make distraction inconvenient. Make action obvious. You're not weak, you're human. Action clears confusion. Thinking creates anxiety. Doing creates clarity. Wrong action teaches more than endless planning. You don't need the whole map, just headlights. The path reveals itself as you move. About other people's opinions. Most people are not watching. They're too busy worrying about themselves. And those who judge, they aren't in the arena. Don't let spectators dictate your life. Stop romanticizing potential. Potential is not an achievement. The world doesn't reward what you could do. It rewards what you do, imperfectly, repeatedly, publicly. Someone less talented than you is winning because they started. Not because they're better, but because they tolerated being bad. Your only job today. You don't need more motivation. You don't need another system. You need to start badly. 2 minutes, 1 sentence, 1 action. Once you begin, the fear fades, the fantasy dies, and reality begins. And reality, even messy, feels lighter than avoidance. Final truth. You will never feel ready. You will feel regret if you don't begin. So start scared, start clumsy, start now. Safe dreams feel comfortable until they rot. Real life only exists on the other side of action. Choose movement. The clock is already running. Stop waiting.